Is that tree weird? No, I would say not. Unless you've never seen a tree before. That tree is not weird. But it is unique. Is this grass weird? Little patches of frost there. Not have you seen grass before? Have you seen frost before? Have you seen frost on grass before? It's not weird. It's only weird if you've not seen it before. So weirdness isn't in you. It's in the person looking at you. Either they're going to think you're weird or they're not going to think you're weird. Depends whether they have seen you before or not. Perhaps they're entirely used to the way that you are, and therefore they think you're not weird, but then someone else who's not used to you thinks you are weird. Weird, possibly the opposite of normal, culturally speaking. But as we know, there is no such thing as normal, really. Normal is just like an average of everyone in the world, and that doesn't make any sense. Because we're not numbers, we're not statistics, we're people. So there is no such thing as normal. That means there's no such thing as weird in a cultural sense. There's only uniqueness. That tree, that's unique. I'm unique. Pretty much everything you can see is unique. Slightly different to something else. Or maybe vastly different to something else. Whether you've seen it before makes it weird or not. Whether it's something that you've experienced and are used to makes it weird or not. So when you say embracing weirdness, we're talking about embracing uniqueness. So what makes me unique? There's probably lots of things, maybe lots of things I don't even realise make me unique. Obviously there's lots of similarities between me and other people too. So when it comes to creating content, I guess, embracing weirdness, i.e. your uniqueness, you have to realise how you're different to everyone else and express that part of yourself. But that's quite difficult because I'm pretty sure that every single aspect of me can be found somewhere in someone else. And also I haven't really got the resources to go around looking at everyone else, checking to see if some aspect of me is not already been covered by them. It's like trying to be original. When you're creating art, people say you should be original. That's bollocks. How are you supposed to know if you're being original or not? You would have to know the entire universe to know whether you are being original or not. You could say with hindsight someone did something original if you studied enough art. Someone did something for the first time. But did they know they were doing it for the first time when they did it? It's unlikely. So you just got to do it and see what happens. It doesn't matter if it's original or not. It's going to be relatively unique because it's got your character in it. Now there is another meaning of weird which I could go into, and that is weird is the opposite of what's normal for me. What's normal for me is to walk through this field and talk like this, at least on these videos. So if I was to stop doing what was normal for me, is that really weird? I suppose it might be only if you knew what I was like normally. And for me it might be weird. From my perspective it might be weird to stop doing what was normal for me. You could say that would be something like stepping out of character. Stepping out of character implies that I'm playing some sort of character right now. That who I am is a character. If I step out of it and start like Andy does, you know, when he pretends to be Rory Watts and Arnold Schwarzenegger and people like that, I don't know if this is deliberate for him. It probably just, for him, just comes up, these things come up, it's like he's channeling them. And I can do the same too. But he stepped out of character and into another character, which we might view as weird if we knew his original character. But if we didn't know his original character, how would we know that was weird? If we didn't know Andy was behind Rory, how would we know Rory was anything other than Rory. Rory would just be normal for Rory. Kind of expect puppets to be a bit strange, don't we? Sorry Rory, you are real, sorry. I'm just talking in metaphor. Anyway, if I step out of this character, step into another character, let's try it. I step into a new character like this, and this is how I speak, and I don't know, it's a bit crazy, it sounds like something off the Mighty Boosh. I like the Mighty Boosh. A lot of the characters on the Mighty Boosh influence my alternative characters. Sometimes I become a cockney, like this, walking along. Oh yes, I sound like the Hitcher. But these are sort of, you could regard them as normal. I mean, they're well-established cultural, the word is, they're established culture anyway. Just like Rory Watts is based off Alan Watts. It's a sort of Andy version of Alan Watts. And that was my version of the Hitcher from the Mighty Boosh. And I think the other one was from the Mighty Boosh too. Hey, look at this. Is that tree normal? I mean, it's barely a tree. What's happened to it? I mean, it's unusual, I suppose, in the sense there are no other trees around it, and it doesn't have any leaves or branches. It's basically a dead tree. Is that weird? It's unusual, I suppose, to see a dead tree, because most of the trees standing up you see are alive. But is it weird? I don't know. So going back to channeling, you know, if I can step into these alternative characters, then the character that I'm in now is just my main character, if you will. And I think this is coming from survival, essentially. We kind of have to understand other people because we have to fit in with other people in order to survive as a group, and that is how we survive as a species. We survive socially together in groups. And so in order to do that, we have to be able to kind of simulate the character of another person. So we know that, you know, how not to upset that person, how to help that person, how to kind of fit in and work with that person. We have to simulate their characters. And if you think about all the people that you know, you could probably think about, go into your imagination and think about all the things that they might say in a conversation. I'm sure that's something that a lot of people do, is imagine conversations. So this brings us basically now into sort of a kind of shaman territory, where we're going into some sort of spirit world and simulating conversations with characters in our mind that, you know, we've perhaps created from various places. Or maybe they're not created, maybe they're real, or maybe there is a real spirit world. And so if I become, you know, my spirit guide, I'm stepping out of my character, because that's weird for me, and it will probably feel weird for me. That's all I want to say, apart from, let's bring us right back to what we mean by weird in cultural sense. Convention, against convention. Language is a big convention, and I'm talking in it now. I mean, that's just so conventional. Being so conventional speaking English, I should speak some other language that is not spoken by anyone in the world. That's what I should do. And that's, you know, one of the things I do when I practice meditation. I speak like this. I go, Samaloko, Shibele Simake, Ola Simika, Ola Ba. Libara, Shobara, Ele. I like to move my hands when I do it. Basili Boko, Olishiba, Olibana, Echo, and Echo, 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 Echo. Dalilete, Bosikaba, Shudabo, Lesamoku Idaba. Edbo! You know, no other motherfucker speaks that language. That's the Martin language. We've all got a different language inside of us. That's my theory. My daughter can do this too. She has her own. She has her own language, and she actually writes it down and has dictionaries and stuff, you know. And of course I encourage this, being a good dad. So anyway, I don't know if I've actually embraced my weirdness. I think maybe that I had no choice to embrace my weirdness, thinking back to school. Even if I tried to be normal, I just couldn't fit in. It was plainly obvious that I was unable to even convince anyone that I was normal. And so at the end of it, I just, who gives a shit? I mean, I can't say that, you know, I just totally let go of all ideals of being normal. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have got this conventional job that I've got. But I have, over the years, started to give less and less of a shit. And the less shits you give, the more you can be yourself. And the more you can be yourself, the more unique, well, the more unique you allow yourself to become. And I guess you could call that weird. But if there is no normal, then there is no weird. Actually, just one other thought that occurred to me is that there isn't really a normal me anyway. It depends what scenario, what situation I'm in. At work there's a me, at home there's a me, and they're actually slightly different. And I notice this in my kids too. Their behaviour at school and their behaviour at home is different. So there isn't really a normal you. It kind of depends what context you put yourself into. Well, obviously most people have only a relatively small number of contexts they expose themselves to. But I guess if you want to embrace your weirdness, then you have to change your environment. And that will subconsciously, I suppose, make you change your behaviour. I was thinking about doing a dance. Because when I'm at the disco, that's when I can pull the moves. That's when I got the dancing going. It's some funny dancing. I might do some now. Loosen up. There we go. That's actually quite difficult because I had to imagine disco music, which isn't easy. So it's like, as I was saying, environment changes character. Alright, Martin signing off after a rather long one. Good day.